The topic of today is everyone is created to solve a problem. Everyone is created to solve a problem. Now, it's interesting to know that it's everyone. But unfortunately, we don't think like that. Unfortunately, the world we look at we live in right now makes you to kind of think that everyone is here to survive. That is the message we get. That is the message we kind of get, that we are here to make a living or we are here to survive. That we are here to survive or to make a living. But unfortunately, that is not true. That is not what we are here for. We are here to become a solution. We are here to become a solution. We are here to bring answers and bring lasting solution. We are not here to just consume, to just try to make a living, or to just try to survive. We are not here for survival. We are here to be a solution. So everyone, and I want you to think about that very well, every single person is created and sent to this world on an assignment. Everyone is sent here not just on an assignment to share other people on, or to be a fan or a cheerleader for other people. You are more significant than that. But being a cheerleader is even not as bad as being a survivor or trying to make a living. Unfortunately, the way the world has been presented to us, the way the vanity of life, the trivialness of life has come across is that you just need to do something to survive. And that is much more lower than you. That is much more lower than us. That is much more lower than our worth. Because just trying to make a living means you will never really get to live. Once you are busy trying to make a living, it means you are struggling. And when you are struggling to make a living, when you are still struggling to make a living, you will not really live. Because you are still struggling to make a living. You are not really living yet. And when you are trying to survive, that is the only thing you do. You only try to survive, but you don't live life. You don't enjoy life. And but when you change that focus, and what makes us to be thinking in terms of survival and making a living is simple. It's egocentrism. It's selfishness. It is selfishness that makes us to think that we are here just to make a living. It is selfishness that makes us to think that we are here just to survive. It is selfishness that makes us just to think about ourselves and our own survival. That is selfishness. But that is also the wrong way to live, because each time we begin to live from the mindset of trying to make a living, each time we begin to struggle to just survive, then we lose our own very sense of living. We live the very same reason for which we were created. Because the very nature of our creation and what we are created for, and our nature in creation, is that we were created to be in the image and likeness of God. And God is love. So we were created to live by love. We were created out of love. And our nature is the nature of love. And love cares about others. Love takes and puts the interests of others above your own interests. So real life itself is about living for others. The real sense of life is the ability not to just think about yourself, but the ability to be thinking about how to make the life of others better and how to make the world better. So that is what the whole life is supposed to be about. Life is supposed to be about me discovering how I could contribute to the life of others, me discovering what I am here to do to make my life, the life of others better, and to make my world better. But egocentrism wants us to think about ourselves. Selfishness is what makes us to think that I must make a living for myself. And once we begin to do that, we become more selfish, we become more aggressive, we become concerned about ourselves, we become pushy, we put other people down, we don't care for others, we become insolent, we become indifferent, we become wicked sometimes. And we lose our what makes us human. We lose our human quality. We lose love, which is the most important thing. So, but when we begin to think in terms of the fact that I am here to solve a problem, I'm here to be a solution, I am here to bring answers, that totally changes everything. That turns everything around. Because when you know you are here to be a solution, when you know you are here to be an answer, you are looking for problems. So, I have a book in Russian that is called I'm Looking for Troubles, I'm Looking for Problems. But if you think about it, normal people don't think in terms of looking for problems. We don't think that it is the normal way to live to look for problems. But really, the best way to live is to live a life looking for problems to resolve. Every other person, because of egocentrism and selfishness, you know what we do with problems? We run away from problems. Most people are running away from problems. We are thinking that problems are bad, and we think that problems are something to run away from. But it's a lie. It is a lie of our egocentric world. It is a lie of our selfish world. But the nature of God that created us, the nature of the God that is in us, is telling us that no, we are here as solutions. Actually, you were packaged from heaven to solve problems. You were specially packaged by God. The qualities that were in you, they were not just put in you to solve your own problems, but to solve the problems of the world. I want everyone here to think in terms of, the reason you were originally created. The reason we were all originally created is to be a solution, to solve problems of the world, to make the world better, to solve problems for other people. I want you to examine your life right now, if you don't mind. I want you to ask yourself that hard question. How do you see the world? What is your world view? And I want to use this series to change our whole world view about problems, our whole paradigm, and our whole approach to problems. And the worldview of the world is wrong about problems. The worldview of most people in this world is that problems are bad. And since problems are bad, since problems cause pain, that the thing to do with problems is to run away from problems. And even at best, what people do with problems is that they resolve their own problems. They focus on solving their own issues, solving their own problems, resolving their own issues, but then they avoid the issues of others. But let me come again and make that point once again. And I cannot emphasize it just enough that, listen closely, that you were packaged by God. You were custom made for problems. You were created for problems. Everything about you is about problems. Everything about you is about problems. You yourself, your whole creation is about problems. You were created to resolve problems. Your life is about problems. There is nothing about your life that is not about problems. %100%. Everything about you is about problems. 100%. And I'm going to prove that to you. I just want it to sink in. Everything about you is about problem. So for you to hide from problems is to swim against the tide. For you to hide away and run away from problems is to lack understanding. To lack understanding of life, and to lack understanding of nature, and to lack understanding of the way the world functions. Especially when I think about the continent that I come from. People think that problems is a tragedy. Problems are tragedies. People think that they are supposed to escape from problem and the more cunning you are about escaping from problems, then the smarter you are. No. Actually, it is foolishness to run away from problems. It is foolishness to try to be running away from problems. Like I said, let me say it again. Everything about you is about problems. Not to be greater than problem, but to resolve problems. Everything about you is about problems. Your life is about problems. And I'm going to repeat that until it gets to you. You have to replace your love for comfort for love for problems. As a matter of fact, the only people who become great in life are people who have come to love problems. The only people who become great and significant in life are the people who have seen that they were created for problems. Everything about your creation is about problem. And you were created only for problems. Not only in the sense that only that purpose, no, but you are created in the general terms to resolve problems and for problems. You are not supposed to be running away from problems. You are supposed to be a problem solver. Let me prove that to you now. Now, listen to the arguments that your whole life is about problems. So you tell me something. Let's talk about your life. Let's talk about your life. Look at yourself. Take a second look at yourself right now, whoever you are. Take a second look at yourself. Look at yourself. What do you like about yourself? You like your look? You like your eyes? Do you like your ear? Do you like your hands? Do you like your breast? Do you like your neck? Do you like your mouth or your lips? Do you like your nose? What do you like about yourself? Every single thing you have just mentioned, every single thing that you just said you like about yourself is connected to problem. If you like your eyes, it's because your eyes were given to you to solve problem. Your eyes were given to you to solve the problem of sight. Everything about you is about problem. You like your hair? Your hair were given to you to solve the problem of both protection and beauty. You like your nose? Your nose is solving a problem. The problem of breath and the problem of life. You like your lips? Your lips and your mouth are given to you so that you'll be able to eat. They're solving the problem of eating, the problem of feeding. You like your teeth? Your teeth are solving problems. They were created for problems. They resolve the problem of chewing and the problem of beauty. What do you like about yourself? You like your neck? Your neck are solving problems. They help you to turn. They help you to move. They help to hold up your head. Everything about your life is about problem. Everything. Your hands solve problems. You use your hand to hold things. You use your hand to work. You use your hand to do everything. Your hands are solving problems. You like your legs? Your legs are not just for beauty and beauty contest. Your legs carry you places. Your legs support you. Your legs solve the problem of movement. Your leg transports you. Why? They solve the problem of movement. Your legs solve problem of movement. Your everything about you is about problem. Everything about you is about problem. Your stomach solves the problem. It contains your food, digestive system. Everything about you is about problem. So why should you now run away from problem? How can you now say you don't like problem when everything from head to toe about you is about problem? Everything about your life is about problem. You cannot escape from problem. You are composed, and you are, custom made for problems. Everything about your body is for problem. I'm sorry, your genitals are there to solve problems. Your sexual organs are for problems. Tell me, what is it that about your life that is not about problem? That's why I say you are created only for problems. Everything about you is always a problem or the other. So to run away from problem is not to know the world. To run away from problems is not to understand life. To run away from problem is not to know mindset of God. As a matter of fact, let me tell you something about problems. The Bible tells us that nobody is sent to this world apart from for problems. As a matter of fact, how could you run away from problems if that is what you are sent here for? There is just no way you would have been created you are not, if not for problems. You were created for problems. And it is only thanks to problems that you are even here in the first place. So how can you now say you are running away from problems when you were created for problems? How can you say you are running away from problems when you are created for problems? If not for problems, you would not have been here on the earth. The Bible says, let me show you evidences and proof that you are created only for problems. Because how can you run away from what you are created for? The Bible says, God said that he had seen the problem of the children of Israel in Egypt, and that their cry had come up to him. Because their cry had come up to God, he conceived Moses. You are conceived because some cries have reached heaven. You are preconceived by God. Your inception and your conception and inception is as a result of some needs, some cries that got to God. You are conceived as a solution concept. You are packaged and sent down to be an answer and a solution to the needs that were voiced to God in prayer. You say, on daily basis, millions and billions of prayers arise and go up to God. And we think God just answers those prayers by sending answers. No, when God wants to answer prayers, he packages a man. You were packaged for something. You were packaged as an answer. Some billions of prayers have gone to heaven. Some millions of prayers, some thousands of prayers, some hundreds of prayers have gone to heaven. They go to heaven on a daily basis every day. And God knew that your composition, he packed you together, he packaged you together, composed you to be an answer. An answer to a particular aspect of a need, of prayers that were released and sent up to God. So can you imagine what an embarrassment? Can you just imagine what a shame it will be that God went through all the pains and all the efforts to package you to resolve a particular situation on the earth, or many situations on the earth, And here you are. You came to the earth. Oh my. I can't believe it. This is so tough for me. Can you imagine that you were packaged by God? Some prayers came up to God. God decided to answer people's prayers. God decided to answer the earth's prayer by packaging you, by creating you. Sent you here. And here you are, nonchalant, got so distracted that you don't even care to find out what you are sent here for. You don't even care for the things that for the calling and for the mission and the purpose for which you were sent. You got carried away because you want to make a living. You see everybody marrying, having children. And that took away your life. That you just sold out. To be good, to have, oh, I must get married, I must have my children, and that's all. You forgot about God's mission. Or maybe you just were carried away, not by marital issues, but maybe you were just carried away by the need to survive, the need to make a living. And so you just started struggling like every other person. You didn't follow God's agenda. You didn't follow God's master plan for the earth. You didn't follow God's plan. You didn't follow God's mission. You didn't find out what God wanted from you, what He sent you here for. You just started running and running at a skip, and you just joined the rat race that everybody is doing. You know, the only type of life that is right and true is only when we live according to God's perspective. When we live how God wanted us to live, how God intended us to live. But when we live as every other person is living, because that is what the whole world is talking about. This is what happens in the world. People, you look for job, you look for profession, you just work all your life. God did not send you here to look for job. God did not send you here to make a living. God did not send you here to survive. God did not. That is not the purpose of your creation. Yes, you are supposed to work, but to work to fulfill purpose. Yes, you are supposed to work, but to work to carry out God's agenda. Yes, you are supposed to work, but to work to please the one that created you in the first place. So when we dedicate our lives to escape from problems, we are dedicating our lives to escape from purpose, from the very same purpose for which we were created. Oh my God. So when we are busy from morning to night, trying to just hide from challenges, instead of purposefully looking for the challenges, for the problems that I was sent here to resolve. We break the heart of God. We just break the heart of God. We just break the heart of God, my dear. We break God's heart. We just break the heart of God. We just break the heart of God. We break the heart of God. And that's why if you have not, listened to my series and my teachings on how to find your calling, you need to do that as fast as possible. There's almost nearly nothing as important as that. I have those series on my blog, SundayAdelajablog.com. Go to the video blog there, and you will see it's the list of the messages. There is a series on calling, and there is a series on the kingdom of God. Those two series, you need to listen to them to discover yourself and to begin to live for purpose, and to begin to live for purpose instead of escaping from purpose. Listen closely. I want to repeat this, and I cannot repeat it strong enough or often enough. Every one of you, everyone is created to solve a problem. I cannot say that enough. That is why Jeremiah chapter 1 tells us that before you were in your mother's womb, that he had called you. Before you were even formed in the fetus stage. Because God is an intentional God. God is a God of specific intention, specific intents. So he's not a God of chaotic occurrences. God is not a chaotic God. God is not just something that will just make things happen and then you'll be finding out to try to figure out what has happened really, what has really happened, what's going on. He plans his things far ahead of time, years and centuries ahead. And if he plans these things ahead, he plans every single thing for a purpose, for an intention. So when God packaged you and took the decision to make your father and your mother mate, he composed you before your mother and father were created as well. But not just as an answer to your father and mother's need to have a child. That's what we're thinking. Our thought is so mundane. Our thinking process is so selfish. Oh, I want to have a baby, my own baby. Oh, God. Excuse me. You are thinking about yourself? I want to have a baby. Is it a doll or a toy? Is that a doll or a toy? I want to have my own baby. Or I must have my own child. You are thinking about your own child. Let's think about the person who thought before you were created, who made you to be created so that you'll be able to give birth to that child for the purpose for which he had conceived. Why that child must be given birth to. And what assignment that child must carry out for heaven's sake. And for the sake of the generations that have prayed. And have cried out. God knew that those same people would be in need that particular hour, that particular generation. Do you want to tell me that I just found myself here in Russia by accident? Do you want to think that I just found myself here by accident? The Lord God Almighty, before communism even came to existence 100 years ago, God knew that there is going to be communism. God knew the cry of the people that were going to be coming out to him for help and for deliverance from communism and from the deception of communism. God knew that he needed somebody with this composition, with this particular composition. God knew he needed to put in himself, in that person, all the genetical, needs and varieties. And God knew that he would not be able to find that kind of person, from Ukraine or from Russia, because he needed the passion that is only that is only based in African genes. He needed the kind of temperament that is only based in a particular group of people, gene or parents, that is only possible from my mother and from my father. God went to some villages somewhere remote. God doesn't care. He's finding the genes that this one will need, that this one will need, that will later make, because he knew that I will be needing these things and these combinations, not just in Russia, but I will need it back in Africa, because there will be a time he will call me back to Africa as well. So he needed a combination, some combinations of the gene and gifts and abilities and all that he had earlier put in my father and in my mother. And in my case, I tell you what, I never knew my father. I didn't get to know my father. And I didn't know my mother. Up to now, I didn't know my father. I still don't know my father. And I never knew my mother until I was like 12 years old. I was, I didn't know her. I didn't grow up with her. I didn't grow up with her. I never grew up with my mother or my father up to now. I never lived with them. I never knew them. I just knew my mother a little bit physically, like I could recognize her. But I never knew her as such. And God set that up as well. Because he knew that even though I needed their gene to become who I became, like my mother and father, they never lived. They only lived for like 6 months. Less than a year. Because the thing that was needed from the two of them were their compositions. My father, I never saw him. My mother never lived with him. They only lived like for 1 year. And the only thing that was needed is that God knew that God needed his own gene and God needed his own sperm to meet with the cell and of my mother to be able to create this. Once my mother got pregnant with me, it was over. They separated, and and then even my mother gave me up to my grandmother. And then all the situation, all the circumstances, the trouble that I went through and everything that happened in our own life, because we were a well-to-do family. But as soon as I was born, when I was 6 years old, everybody that was of significance in our family, 3 people that were well-to-do, national names, some of the most successful Nigerians were in my family, 3 of them. But in 6 months, all the 3 of them were wiped out. They died mysteriously. But now looking back, I know for sure that if those my senior uncles and people would have been alive, I would not be carrying out God's mission here in Russia today. Because one of them studied in France and in England, and another one studied in Nigeria, another one was a millionaire, but they were all well placed. One was in the Ministry of Finance, one was in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and they would not have allowed me to come to Russia. They would have sent me to somewhere where I would have missed purpose for which God created me for in the first place. So I know God allowed the tragedy. God had to allow the tragedy to happen so that a greater destiny and a greater future will arise. And this, if not for that, my church and my ministry that I pioneered in Russia had touched 70 million people. 70 million people, 70 million, not one person, 70 million. So when you are talking about your child, you are talking about, my baby, I must give my to my baby. Oh, I'm not having a child. Oh, this is my child. You are talking of your child. You are talking of your child. You are talking of, it's my baby, my child. God is talking about his assignment, his purpose. God is talking about millions. You are talking about your pain. I grew up in a poor family. My pain. I didn't have anything. Now I must make a living. Now I must survive. Now I must work hard. I must get money. I must get a house. I must get an insurance. You are talking about your pain. You are talking of your pain. You are talking of egocentrism is just killing us. Selfishness is just killing us. Selfishness is just killing us. We trade destiny for selfishness. We trade destiny for selfishness. We trade purpose for comfort. It is. The greatest question you will ever be able to answer yourself is, what problem am I supposed to solve with my life? What problem am I here to solve? What problem am I here to solve for God? What problem did God send me here to solve? What am I here for? What am I here for? What problem is God here? Has God sent me here to resolve for him? What problem is my life to resolve? Not the problem of what to eat and what to drink, not the problem of bread and butter, not the problem of mundane things like my child or my wife, my husband, or my comfort, my this, my that. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about what assignment he sent me here to do. It's about what he created me for. It's about what he created you for. It's about what he sent you here to do. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about what we're supposed to do. It's about him at the end of the day. Now, think about this. I want you to think about this. If everything about you, just think about this, okay? I just want you to reflect on this just by yourself and for yourself. If everything about you is solving problems, if even your teeth are solving problems, your lips are solving problems, if your eyes are solving problems, and your nose are solving problems, and your ears are solving problems, your hands are solving problems, your legs are solving problems, your nails are solving problems, your ear are solving problems, your skin are solving problems, everything. Just let it sink in, okay? Let it sink in. If everything about you is about solving problems, if everything about you is about problems, is that not enough suggestion? Is that not enough, a message? Is that not enough a reason to know that means as a totality, I, as a total being, as a totality, I am here to solve a problem? If everything about me is directed at solving one problem or the other, is that not a message for me? Is that not a suggestion for me? Is that not a strong signal for me to know to understand that it means my whole life too is about problems? That my whole life too must be about resolving problems. That my whole life must be about bringing solutions. I think it's only logical. And that is why that thing that Pearl David did, I spoke about Pearl David yesterday. What she did was that she did a video message, just a 5 minutes video message, talking about our platform here, talking about this platform, and she's talking to her friends and telling them to come and watch and be present and follow this platform, that they should never miss it. Because if you really care for anybody, I think everybody should do the same thing. If you really care for people, if you really care for your friends and relatives, why don't you do a message from you, a personal message to all my friends? Just call it a personal message to all my friends. Unfortunately, since I said that, it's only one person who has done it. The only person who has done it is T.Y. Moore. And T.Y. Moore has done a very beautiful one. She did a video appeal to all her friends, talking about the changes that have happened in her life since she has been on this platform. She has been listening to these messages, and she's giving them an encouragement and that they should all join and begin to watch this video and this daily broadcast but it doesn't have to be live daily broadcast. They could go to the video, to my blog to watch the recordings, or to the Facebook to watch the recording, and you can give them the direction. But the idea is that, things we are talking about are so serious. So many people have missed it. So many people have missed the purpose of life. It's not about me, and it's not about this message. That I'm the one saying it. You might be the one going to say it. Maybe you will be able to preach it better than me. Go ahead, but let people get back to purpose. Let people get their lives back. Our lives have been stolen by the need for survival. We have sold out our lives for the need to make a living. We have sold out our lives for the need to survive. We have sold our lives to, the fad of the hour and the deception of the age, that we're only here for ourselves. We're only here to make a living. That life is all about us, and we are just to go and get a job and go and work, eat, work, and die. What a waste that would be. Can you imagine how much deposit God has put in you. Can you just imagine how much deposit God has put in you? Can you just imagine how much potential, how much resources God has put in you? Some of you were even brought up in a good family. Some of you even had a mother and father. Some of you even had a good upbringing. Some of you even went to a decent school. Some of you, apart from God's invention in your lives, some of you had other people's invention in your lives as well. Some of you had your parents who worked all their lives to invent in you. Some of you had all your mothers and fathers, their lives, they gave their lives to make you have a living. They invested like 30 years of their lives or 40 years of their lives just to give you education or to make you who you are today. And then you are just struggling to make a living. You are just struggling for someone. And then you don't even care to live for eternity and to even find out what is that thing that you are supposed to resolve on the earth. We are all here to resolve a problem, to solve one problem or the other. It could be more than one problem, but we're here for solution. We are here. You are sent here for a purpose. Just like Moses was sent here for a purpose. I mean, look at the Bible. Look at Moses. You know that Moses was created as a solution to the cry. God said the cries of the children of Israel got up to me. So he created Moses to be an answer, just like he did with you. He did with you. That's what he did with you. But can you imagine Moses being created to become an answer to the problem of Egypt? And he just goes out and runs away with some mundane things, with just doing his own thing and, doing. I mean, he had a chance to miss God. He had an opportunity to make a life for himself, and selfishness would distract you. Selfishness would distract you from your purpose. I mean, if he had been after selfishness, if Moses had been after selfishness, he would have remained in the palace of Egypt, of Pharaoh. He would have just been fighting for position, maybe to become the next Pharaoh or something like that. He would have been fighting for that. He would have chosen his own ways. Just like we are all choosing our own ways today. Just like we are all putting our comfort before purpose. Just like we are all putting our lives, our own agenda before God's agenda. It's a shame. It's an embarrassment. Now you know why there is judgment. Where there is going to be the judgment seat of God. Where God is going to just pass judgment upon even believers. Because we're selfish. Even our faith, our being believers, it's about selfishness. It's about me and mine. And even churches, people are running churches in a selfish way, not to help people discover who they are, but to help them come to fulfillment and to help them fulfill their destiny. It's normally about, you being using people to fulfill our own vision, not helping people to fulfill their own visions, not helping them to discover their own vision. It's all about our own vision. And it's a pity. It's a pity. It's a pity. It's a pity. Everyone, like I said, everyone is created for a problem, to solve a problem. Let's start from the very creation. If you look in the Bible, everyone is created to solve a problem, just like you. Adam and Eve were created to solve a problem. What was the problem that Adam and Eve were created to resolve? Adam and Eve were created to resolve the problem of modeling, to become a model, prototype. Adam and Eve resolved the problem of prototype. Adam and Eve were created to be prototypes. Prototype of God on the earth. Replica of God on the earth. Prototype in the sense that they were the first ones. They were the models. They were created to be a model, to model to us how humans are supposed to look. They carried out their mission. But besides that, they were also created to become managers of the earth. Everyone is created to resolve a problem. They resolve the problem of carrying, to be the first ones to carry the image of God. to reveal the likeness of God. And that is still our destiny today. We still have that challenge and that calling today, just like they were initially given to become to model the image and the likeness of God. They model it for us so that we could know who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to live. We too are supposed to be modeling that lifestyle of God on the earth. Living for God. Our life is supposed to be about Him, about what He intended us to be, what He created us for originally. Our lives is not supposed to be about us. We did not create our lives. We did not offer our destiny. We did not make us. We did not make ourselves. Our life is about the one who created us. He created us for Himself. He has a reason for sending us here. It's all about Him. Your life is supposed to be all about Him. And that's what Jesus meant when He said, seek ye first. His kingdom is all about Him. It's not all about you. And when we look around at our own lives, when we examine our lives, do you think, we think like that? We don't normally think like that our life is all about Him. We normally think our life is all about us. Sometimes we even say, it's my life. I do what I like with it. And sometimes we all say, it's all about me. It's all about me. It's all about my life. Those are the deceptions of life that we've been sold. Those are the deceptions of life that have been sold out to us. It's not about me at all. And it's not about you at all. It's about the owner of that life. You think you are the owner of your life? Are you the owner of that life? Do you really think so? No. It's about Him. It's His life. He gave you that life. He owns you. So the way I and you are supposed to be living is about the way He wants us to live. It's about what He wants us to be doing. It's about what He wants and desires from us. It's supposed to be all about Him. All about Him. All about Him. All about Him. All about Him, dears. It's supposed to be all about Him. Oh God. Help us to make our lives all about You, Father. Help us to give up. Help us to surrender. Oh, let our lives be all about You, Jesus. Let my life be all about You. I surrender. I bow down. Let it be all about You, Jesus. Let it be all about You, Father. Let it be all about You. All about You and what You want from me. All about You and what You want from us. All about You and Your desire. All about You and Your plans. All about You and Your purpose. All about You and Your intentions. All about You, Father. Let it be all about You. Let it be all about You. Help us to empty ourselves. Help us to just run ourselves dry and make ourselves be You. Help us to make ourselves be submitted and be totally broken and emptied for You, so that You will fill us with Yourself. You will fill us with Your life. You will fill us with Your essence. And we'll be able to carry You and be able to live for Your purpose for which You created us in the first place. It's all about You, Lord. It shouldn't be about us. Like I said, Adam and Eve were created for a purpose. That's an example for us to know that we too are created for a purpose. Now, Adam and Eve at the time thought that it was all about them. And when they began to think that it was all about their lives, they took the wrong decisions. They began to take the wrong decisions. And you know how catastrophic that decision ended up being. Well, so many of us, we are repeating their mistakes today, thinking that our lives is all about us. And as soon as we think like that our life is all about us, well, what happens is we begin to take the wrong decisions. We begin to take decisions that are geared towards egocentrism and towards selfishness. And that leads to death. That leads to breakage in relationship with God. That leads to coming short of the glory of God. That leads to all kind of troubles. That leads to deception. That leads to wasting of our lives. That leads to missing the point. That is all kind of problems just because. And that's why I spoke about crisis yesterday. That's all last week, because that's why God doesn't have any option but to just be sending those crises to our lives all over again, over and over again, because He needs those crises to help us at least listen. We need those crises to just at least make us listen. At least make us listen. Listen closely. I cannot say this often enough, and I cannot repeat it enough. You were sent here to be a solution. You are sent here to solve a problem. I'm just thinking of Africa and Nigeria. Like God is telling me to go back to Nigeria, right? And, because I was created not just to resolve problems in Europe, but part of my assignment on earth was to resolve problems back in Africa. And I'm working on it so bad now. So I'm becoming so tired because I'm working so hard, even without moving there yet. But I'm going to move there. But I'm thinking about so many other people who are watching me right now and who are in diaspora. Some of you are created actually to be the problem, to be the answer to some of the problems that African continent is facing right now. Some of you were created to become the problem, to become the answer, the solution to the problem of traffic, to the problem of electricity, to the problem of accommodation, to the problem of technology, to the problem of families, to the problem of women, to the problem of children, to the problem of schools, to all kind of anything you could think about. Some of you were created to resolve some of those problems that you yourself are complaining about right now. Some of you are the ones who were created to be the answer and solution to some of those things that you are running away from. And we were sent to Africa, born in Africa, to be a solution to Africa, and we took off and ran away from the very same problem that we're supposed to be resolving. So but it doesn't have to be in Africa. God will tell you where you're supposed to be. But the idea is that all of us were created to solve a problem. And I will tell you that it's not by accident that you are African. There must be a reason why you are African, and you probably need to also contribute something there. And there is probably a problem that you're supposed to resolve there. So you would really need to do a lot of soul searching. All of us, we need to sit down and do a lot of soul searching. And do soul searching in terms of, okay, I am alive. Am I really alive to do, if everything about my body is resolving problems, what about me? Am I here? Am I really resolving any problem? Apart from my egocentric problems, apart from my selfish problems, what is my life about? What is that problem? What is that solution that my life is supposed to provide? What is that problem that my life is supposed to resolve? Am I really living a life that is dedicated to resolving problems? Am I in sync with God? Am I in sync with God, with His mindset, with His opinion, with His dreams, with His aspirations, and with His plans for me? Am I really doing exactly those things that He created me to do? Am I really am I walking in line with Him? Am I really following His precepts for me? Is my life really all out solving problems? We need a lot of soul searching. A lot of soul searching is needed today. A lot of soul searching. And I really want to ask you to ask yourself that question. Is your life about solving the problem? Not just some problems at work or at your job or something, but is your life totally devoted to finding those problems that God sent you to resolve on earth? we're not talking about egocentric stuff like, your own thing or your own family thing. Me, me, and my family. No. We're talking about, God's problems, God's challenges. Like I said, if you missed out on how to find out your calling, how to discover yourself, and actually you might even want to get this book, Who Am I? Who Am I? It will help you. Or you could go to my blog and go and listen to all the messages about how to discover who you are and your calling.